there's a special election going to be held in the great state of Massachusetts to replace the Senate seat vacated by John Kerry, who, God help us, is our Secretary of State. Joining us now is the Republican candidate to fill that seat, and his name is Gabriel Gomez, a former Navy SEAL, a man who got his MBA, a man with, as you could probably tell a little bit from the name, has Hispanic background and heritage, and you would think would be the darling of the media, but you see he's got the R next to his name and not the D. But nonetheless, Gabriel, welcome to the show, sir.
I appreciate it. I'm honored to be on. Thank you very much.
The honor is mine. First of all, congratulations on what's been a great race so far. And I'd like to ask you about the latest poll numbers, although you dipped in the overall, but some of the internal numbers of the polls show you with a huge lead among independents, 56 to 33, and that's up 16 points from earlier this month. And more than half of registered voters in Massachusetts are independents. So do you find encouragement in that aspect of the latest polls?
You're right. I mean, I don't look at the polls much, but I know that everywhere we go, there is a large sense of enthusiasm from not just Republicans, but from independents and Democrats that find themselves with a pretty clear choice on, you know, with a fresh face, somebody who's got real experience, as opposed to not only a career politician, but something even worse, a career partisan politician. So I couldn't be more excited, and it's really resonating with independents and some Democrats.
Now, what about the National Republican Party? You know, with the poll numbers being what they are, you know, single digits, and these internals just showing what they show. Have you gotten financial support and other support from the National Party in this race so far?
Oh, yes, we've gotten support from all over the place, and like I said from the beginning, though, we're going to win this race, you know, with or without D.C., and we're enthused with all the support we're receiving.
But that's what I'm saying. Let's talk about for a minute D.C. I mean, has the National Republican Party or the RNC or however whatever the specifics are? I mean, have they given you the support that you could use?
Yes, they have.
Okay.
I've had great support and great dialogue with the NRSC. And they've been very supportive.
Good. Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about some of the issues here. You know, I'll have you comment on the news of the day. I mean, we're just getting a report that was broken on CNN that the U.S. Marshal Service had terrorists in witness protection. And they're now unable to locate two former participants in this federal witness security program that they have identified, and the Inspector General did a report. They've identified them as suspected terrorists. These people are given new names. These people are allowed to fly. They're not on any no-fly lists. They're believed to be out of the country right now. But you know, when you hear about things like this on the heels of all the scandals we're talking about in the last few days, how do you respond to all this?
You know, I mean, this is just another one of these scandals this week. You have that on top of the IRS targeting citizens for political reasons. You've got the Justice Department seizing phone records from the press. You've got conflicting and confusing accounts of Benghazi. And they all have some very common threads. It's the abuse of government power. It's the lack of transparency in government. And it's just the total dysfunction down in D.C. And I think this is one of the reasons that people just they both hate politics and they hate everything about what's going on down in D.C. and anybody associated with D.C. and especially somebody who's been down there for 37 years, literally since not only since I was playing Little League baseball, but for people up here in Boston. I mean, before Tom Brady was even born.
Yeah, well, no, absolutely. And talk about, you know, Benghazi has to be a story very close to your heart, having been a Navy SEAL and served this country proudly, and someone who, you know, had their eyes on this story from the beginning. Again, you know, as the confusion progresses, and now as we get the emails dumped yesterday, 100 emails, still in all, they show that the State Department was involved in changing the narrative, getting rid of any reference to a request for prior security. Who do you think should be held accountable for Benghazi?
Benghazi is an absolute disgrace. It happened over almost 8.5 months ago, and on top of that, happened on September 11th of last year. And any attack on a U.S. embassy or U.S. consulate is an attack on U.S. soil. I mean, not only did we lose our ambassador, but we also lost 3 other brave young men, and 2 were former SEALs. You know, one right here that grew up here in Massachusetts. And it's incredible. This shouldn't even be a partisan issue. This should be a bipartisan issue. It's a disgrace that we can't have both sides working to get to the bottom of what happened. And more importantly, or equally as importantly, is try to figure out why it happened and how we can prevent this from ever happening again. I think that there's still way too many questions that are unanswered to determine whether there is a cover-up or not. But this would be one of the main focuses that I'll have when I get down to D.C.
When you go and meet with the folks and you talk to people, what are their main concerns? I mean, through it all, with the scandals and everything that we've learned about in the past week, really, although Benghazi has been going on longer, is it still about the economy? Is it still about jobs? Is it still about people being afraid of their futures when it comes to their well-being economically?
Well, it's definitely the economy and about the anemic recovery that we're having, and about people worried about either their current jobs and whether they're going to keep their jobs, and whether they're going to keep the health programs they were told would never change, and whether they're going to be able to get new jobs if they're not working right now. But this last week has really put an incredible chill among the American people, because now you've got absolute abuse of the Constitution from the government and from government agencies. And we don't live in Iran or North Korea. This is not at all what the people expect from their government, and this is definitely risen to the top of people's minds.
So, and we're talking to Gabriel Gomez, who's the Republican candidate for the U.S. Senate from the state of Massachusetts in a special election to fill the seat vacated by John Kerry. When the president says today at his press conference, as he did, that he makes no apologies for the seizing of the AP records. And he says he has the complete and utter confidence in the Attorney General, Eric Holder, even though Eric Holder, I don't know how many times yesterday under oath in front of Congress said, I don't know, and also stated that he doesn't know how many times he went after other media records, which was a shock to me, because that means other reporters and other media outlets have been victimized the way the AP was, and we don't even know about that yet. So when you hear these kinds of things, obviously it resonates with you, but do you believe that in the liberal state of Massachusetts it's going to resonate and is resonating with them as well?
Absolutely. I make no mistake. This is not just conservatives or Republicans who are mad about this. It's everyone. It's all Americans. It's not just the people here in Massachusetts. When they read and hear about the intrusion and the abuse of the Constitution, I spent 9 years in the military protecting and defending the Constitution as a SEAL. It's the freedom my parents came to this country for. And to find out that our own government has violated that guarantee of equal protection, it just burns me up, and it burns up every average American out there.
I got one more quick one. As I mentioned, your Hispanic background. You learned to speak Spanish before English in your household. Obviously, you're a great American story, as I mentioned to you, the MBA and everything. Do you feel that that this is something that the media, if you were a Democrat, would be trumpeting constantly, and that because you're a Republican, they don't talk about it much at all?
I think that could be part of it. The media has their own storylines that they want to play, but I'm confident that we're going to get our message out there just like we did in the primary, and we're going to be very, very successful, and we'll be able to connect with the whole state of Massachusetts, and I'm confident that we're going to be successful on June 25th.
All right, promise me you'll come back before then, and then after you win, you'll come back as well.
Absolutely. Anytime you'd like me on.
All right, Gabriel Gomez, thank you so much, sir. Good luck.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. An American hero, former Navy SEAL. Great story to tell. And you would know his name as a household name.